Hey everybody, what's going on? KSA Kris here with the Real Estate Blitz. If you saw the post I put up last night, it was about social media and real estate agents with social media. So this is what I find unique. Every real estate agent that's out there has heard about it, and I know clients are getting to a point where they're demanding it. We hear about it every time that we go on an appointment now. And a lot of agents, their idea of social media is I create a Facebook business page, and I'm a social media, I'm a guru. That's my thing. I'm a social media guru, and yeah, of course I got social media. I put up a bunch of stuff. Yeah. So here's how it goes down. If you have a business page and nobody engages with it, what you're doing is spending a lot of energy putting out a bunch of stuff that nobody's looking at. At the end of the day, what we're all combating when it comes to a real estate agent, you're combating obscurity. You could be the best agent in the market, but if nobody knows, then you aren't. Period. That's the truth. So social media. I was at a nice little seminar yesterday that was up in Marietta at Signature Real Estate Group, and I wasn't planning on speaking or having to speak, but I actually got pulled up about social media. And I went ahead and gave as much as I could in a very short amount of time what I could give, but unfortunately it wasn't enough time allotted to really go in depth. So I figured what I'd probably start doing is creating a series. Maybe once a week I'll sit down and it'll be kind of like a start to finish social media series for real estate agents, just so you can start getting out there. So let's start off with part one today. What is social media? Social media, without getting too deep in the weeds on how it started and the history of it. Look, you can jump on Wiki and figure that stuff out. At the end of the day, the way I view social media is it's a cocktail party. It's a cocktail party. There used to be a time back in the day, if you didn't know this, where they had clubs, different clubs, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the Koalas, the Rotary Club, all these different clubs. And I remember even watching the Flintstones as a kid, and Fred Flintstone is like, yeah, I'm going down to the lodge, and that's kind of what people did. Their way of networking and engaging was to go and be a part of these different organizations and clubs. Real estate agents specifically, they used to be a part of these organizations, and that's how they would actually farm. They would get new clients through basically being part of these different organizations and networking. Social media is the same exact thing. Same exact thing. Unfortunately, a lot of agents treat it how they don't treat it the way it used to be treated. When you went and you joined these organizations, you hung out. You were engaged, you did volunteer stuff, you got to be friends with people, and everybody knew that you did real estate, and you talked about real estate every now and again, but you didn't just do real estate. You actually were a person, you were a human being. So now I see real estate agents jumping on social media, and their way of dealing with it is, I'm just going to smash as much real estate agent stuff in your face as possible, just pinch your nose and eat it. And they just go, I'm real estate, buy my stuff, I sell things. It's cocktail hour, folks. People jump on social media to escape. People jump on social media to engage with people all over the world and talk about stuff and share ideas. And some people just jump on social media so they can do the, selfies and stuff and show pictures of themselves. I mean, social media is for everything. It's one worldwide cocktail party. That's all social media is. And that's how it should be treated. And we'll talk more about that as we move forward. So step one, knowing what social media is out there, and I'll tell you my belief as far as what's good, what's bad. Facebook is fantastic. If you're not on Facebook and you're a real estate agent, you probably haven't found any of this stuff, so it doesn't matter anyways. Facebook is a great place to start, and the reason why, A, there's just so many people, billion plus people that are on Facebook. B, as you start gaining traction with however you want to do it, a business page, if you want to do a celebrity page, a fan page, however you want to do it. Some real estate agents create pages that are just for niche markets, and they create a content page that tells you what's going on in that community, and that works out extremely well. So you can actually target market and find people or like people through using Pixel and a bunch of, and again, we'll talk a lot of this stuff down the road. But Facebook's fantastic. You have Facebook, you have YouTube. YouTube is pretty magic. It's magical if you're not doing any type of video-based content like this is, or you're not doing videos of your homes like our YouTube channel. And I'm going to point you guys to some of the stuff that we do so you can see what engagement looks like. and you see what engagement doesn't look like. So you got YouTube, you got Facebook, you have Snapchat. I personally love Snapchat, but depending on the key is, who are your clients? And if you haven't sat down and written out, this is how old my client is, this is the demographic of my person, here's what they make, here's what they're looking to buy. If you haven't created, ours is actually called Bill. Bill, I have a full rundown for Bill, the kind of, our ideal client. And then Bill's wife, Jane, we have a full rundown for her. If you haven't done that, it makes it extremely hard to figure out what you should be into. Snapchat, it's rare. So let's say in a market that we're in, a majority of our clients are 60 and above. The odds are good they aren't on Snapchat. Does that mean you shouldn't be on Snapchat? I disagree. I think, you need to look at your future markets. Your future markets are going to be on some of these other social medias. When you start talking about millennials, Generation Xers, baby boomers are all over Facebook. Not so much Snapchat. But if you gain control and traction in that area, in that arena, it's another place where in the future you've already started building a client, you didn't even realize it. So you have Snapchat, you have Instagram. I personally love Instagram. Instagram for my enjoyment. I enjoy going through Instagram because it's easy for me to consume what's going on without having to read through a whole bunch of stuff. Facebook is really noisy for me. Instagram is just really, it's just easier. It's cool. I buy a lot of stuff from Instagram. I don't mean to. It's just as I'm scrolling through, I go and hit something, I see multiple content from different things. Next thing you know, I'm calling them up. Hey, I love what you guys are doing. I saw you on Instagram. I'm looking to do the same thing. So I personally love Instagram as well. Man, I could keep going. There are just a ton of different ways of doing social media and different things you should be in. You got Twitter. Twitter's pretty fantastic. Twitter, that's not, nobody follows that. Donald Trump, oh my God, he said the T word. Look, Donald Trump is on Twitter, and he's doing extremely well. Got millions of people following him. So here's the number one key when it comes to social media. Attention is king. Attention is king. The whole point of social media is that you're gaining attention. There's a lot of different ways you could do that, and everybody has their own platform, their own concepts and ideas. So let's talk about that. Outside of the different types of social media, which you can Google outside of what you just heard me talk about, I'm going to tell you what some people say and what I personally do. Some people say, I have this one guy, he got all upset at me and, typed in capital letters, "You're posting too much. You shouldn't post this much. I know what I'm doing on social media. You should listen to me." And he says, "You should only post up one business thing per week, and that's it." And the thing is, if you look at his business page, no engagement. No, nobody looks at his stuff. He has probably made $0. Oh man, I see you all over. I see you everywhere. Isn't that the key? I see you everywhere, and oh man, I see you online all the time. You're always pushing stuff. Me personally, I'm not a fan of that approach, but everybody has their thing. You have the other approach. The 40% business, and the rest of it is going to be personal. Here's my family. This is me out doing stuff, and you're basically telling a story. You're being a storyteller if you go that route. So you're kind of telling a story and weaving in and weaving out of So you're allowing people to get to know you. You're becoming more approachable and more sensible and all that other stuff. And I think that's fantastic as well. The approach that I've taken, my personal page on Facebook, that's my page. I mean, I still keep it clean, and I know some people are like, well, I should be allowed to post up my political views and my religious views and this and that. And you can't. You can't. It's social media. You can do whatever you want. What I would say is if it could potentially alienate clients, you probably shouldn't do it. Well, it's my personal page. Sure it is. I'll tell you what I hear all the time. People actually, before we show up for a listing appointment, we sit down and start talking to them, they usually say, we've researched you. If you type in, and I challenge you, go into Google, type in Kim Steele, S-T-E-E-L, and Associates. Press enter. We own the first 3 to 7 pages on Google. They research us. They look us up. They look us up before we actually ever get there. And if they're looking at my personal page and they see that I support this person or I'm into that religion or whatever else it is, when it's just not needed to put it on there and it doesn't sit in line with what they believe in, guess what? You just lost a client. You never even knew it. Never even had a shot. So me personally, I keep my personal page, I put on personal stuff that's like my family, what's going on, what I've been up to. Sometimes I'll do little videos like this to give updates to my friends and family with where we are on the family. But my personal page is still my personal page. I do run the 40% where it's 40% business and the rest of it is kind of, my own personal stuff and what's going on in my life. But that's my personal page. Now my business pages are different. Now, let me back up for a second. When I'm talking to you, I'm going to be talking mostly from the standpoint of Facebook first, and let me tell you why. It's really a 5-step process. This is how I want you guys to think about it in your head. If you're creating content, you're going to either write a blog, and we'll talk about blogs. Blogs and social media are huge. And being able to lead capture and filter through your websites. And that's way down the road. But write a blog, some type of content, something that's getting people to engage. After that, you're going to do either a video or an audio, something that you could post up that can be put on. And the key is repurpose. So right now, I'm doing a video. Before this video, I posted up a simple read, something that people could dig into, or I could write it myself. Then I'm going to create a video. I can strip the audio off of this video. I can roll it into podcasts. I can drop it onto YouTube. I can drop it into Instagram, this video. I can drop it into Facebook. I can put it onto my website, right? So now I have the video. Video can be transitioned into audio, which goes onto a podcast. So if you're doing this regularly, consistently anyways, we'll talk about why that's important. The key to social media is consistency. That is the golden nugget, consistency, right? So then you strip it again. So it was audio, went to a podcast. From the podcast, now you're going to sit down and create content that you send out to your database. If you have a database and you've set up like MailChimp or something like that, now you can actually sit there and send off a blog that you wrote. You can send off content, either the video or you can send off something that you shared, and then write in something that's from you. You're repurposing content. This should take you no more than maybe 15-20 minutes a day in order to hit everybody. So now you're hitting them on social media with content, you're hitting them with video, you're hitting them with audio, and you're hitting your database, right? And then once you get done with that, you basically move to the 5th step. You take that information and you roll it into something else as you gain. So Gary Vee is a great example. Gary Vee just came out with a book. Hold on. This is probably the best example of what I'm talking about. Bam. Ask Gary Vee. I'm a big Gary Vee fan. So Gary Vee, it's a whole book of stuff. They're just questions and answers of stuff he's already done. These are all from different shows and different people asking him stuff, and he basically took it, repurposed it into a book, and made millions of dollars. Has made millions of dollars off of this book. Just compiling stuff he's already done. So how can you use that? Well, you basically take a lot of the stuff that you've already done and you put it into different types of ebooks that are educating your clients, whatever it's going to be, however you want to educate them. So that's basically the 5-step process. So let's back up. I'm going to be talking about from the standpoint of Facebook first, because it's kind of where I start with everything and then I blast it out to all these different social media sites. So what am I looking to do to gain traction? First off, when you talk about, in my opinion, when you talk about social media, and I have it written up here, it is not turbo leads. If you're like, oh, I'm going to start social media, I'm going to go on there and I'm just going to get a deal a week. We probably get a lead. We get a minimum of 1 deal per week off of social media, and we get at least 1 to 2 leads, quality leads per day off of social media. If you think you're going to start that right away and just start making money, it doesn't work that way. It takes time, and it takes consistency. Every day you should be creating something. So example, I just started the Real Estate Blitz. If you're watching this, you could be watching it on Facebook or YouTube, and it's called the Real Estate Blitz. I started this thing 3 weeks ago. I'm almost up to 1,000 people that like it and engage with it. I'm getting anywhere from 200 to 1,000 plus views on every video that I'm putting out right now, right? Give it a year. I bet a year from now, the Real Estate Blitz is going to be bringing in opportunities, bringing in deals. It's going to give awareness, and it also meets some of my other concepts and ideas that I'm trying to create. So it's not something that you just start hammering it. If you want to see something that we've already started, go to, same thing, Kim Steele and Associates. You can go on Facebook. You can go on YouTube. You can go on Instagram. Any one of these different places and take a look. I would tell you, start at Facebook. Facebook, we get anywhere from 5,000 to 100,000 different people that will actually be reached and engage with our content that we put onto that page. If you see something on there that hasn't gotten a lot of engagement, it's sometimes put there on purpose. It's actually to just hit our people, and again, this is later, we're going to do 4 or 5 different episodes. This will probably be, talking about social media is probably going to take like 2 months if I do it 1 episode per week. And I'm gonna call this guy out right now, Francisco Martinez. I'm gonna get Francisco Martinez to sit over here with me to talk about social media. If you don't know him, look him up online, Francisco Martinez. He is a social media guru. I learned a lot of stuff from him as well, and I'm getting ready to have him come back in the office to work with me a little bit. But it's you have to understand, it's going to take you some time, it's going to take some patience, and a commitment to actually creating quality content that people want to consume. So if you're a real estate agent, first off, sit down and start Googling all the different things that I already talked about, the different types of social media. Start learning what those social media are, how it works. You know, I remember I was deathly afraid of Instagram. I was trying to make Adam do all the Instagram posts for me until I started messing with it. And honestly, you just need to mess with it. If you're just going to put up a couple photos and the worst. Do you like this kitchen? What do you think of this kitchen? Look, be creative, man. Everybody's doing that. Everybody, you know why? Because they read some goofy article, like the one I posted last night. They read some goofy article where you get out there and ask a bunch of people, you like this kitchen? First off, it ain't your kitchen. Second off, it's not even a house that you have listed that's your kitchen. It's just something that you pulled up off the internet and asked a bunch of people if they liked the kitchen. And here's the thing, most of the people don't care. They just keep scrolling. So what is that that's going to make them stop? What is it that's going to catch their attention? What is it that's going to make them engage? And once they actually start engaging, what is it that you're going to do to continue to make them engage with you, which in turn creates leads, which in turn creates opportunity and more business for you? If you're just going to stand up a business page, that ain't the way. That ain't the only way. It's not enough. It's not enough. So step 1. Start informing yourself. Jump online, Google all the different things that I talked about today. Step 2, start actually like putting in there how to gain engagement. If you want to learn about YouTube, pick something that you want to start off with first. I told you, me personally, I started off with Facebook. And start learning what you can about those platforms, right? Step 3, tune in for the next part 2 to this one, and I will start going in depth. We'll probably start with Facebook and talk about building a business page, how to build it, and how over time to build different variations and forms of consistency and branding. So that will catch fire, and we'll kind of walk through each one of the different platforms, and then we'll start going really in depth as we get towards the end on paid advertising, what you should be paying, how do you narrow down your markets, how do you find the people that you want to either buy or sell something. And probably the very last thing I'll do is have Francisco Martinez come in and just kind of sprinkle a little extra something on the top of it for us, okay? Please do me a favor, like, share, comment. I love getting questions. If you have questions about social media, please ask them, put them down into the comments, so that way I can take a bunch of notes and I can talk about it as I do this series. At a minimum, I'm going to do this once per week until I just run out of stuff to talk about. And hopefully I start getting feedback. I actually got a phone call with a lady that heard me yesterday that wants to sit down and talk about her business page. Hopefully I start getting good feedback about what you guys are consuming from me, and it's helping you actually design and develop something that's beneficial to you and your business, okay? As always, thank you very much. Chris here, KSA Kris at the Real Estate Blitz. Like, share, comment, and go check us out on YouTube. Be looking out for our podcast, which is going to be coming pretty soon. And share it with your friends. Tell the people you know. All right, appreciate you. Talk to you later. Bye.